This is the story of how I cleaned and restored a vintage leather bag and absolutely nothing disturbing happened.
Ew! Ew!
Nothing at all.
What the heck?
Just a normal, relaxing restoration.
Ew!
Let's get started. I paid $10 for this vintage leather bag, including all of its complimentary contents. At first glance, it had potential. The shape was beautiful, the leather felt solid, and it had that lovely vintage character. It also had a dirty lining, dry leather, and hardware that looked like it survived several economic recessions. The question was, could I make it beautiful again without stripping away everything that made it look vintage? The leather felt dry, but thankfully it wasn't cracked. The lining needed a proper clean, and the hardware had oxidation and worn plating. Cleaning could improve the surface, but once the plating is gone, it's gone. I started with the inside because there was no point lovingly conditioning the leather while several decades of mystery crumbs were still renting space in the corners. I gently pulled out the pockets and vacuumed everything I could reach. So far, I found dust, fluff, and the remains of someone else's life. Normal vintage bag archaeology. Then, because I wanted to be thorough, I cleaned inside the card slot. And that's where I found this.
Ew! Ew! Ew!
Yum, a fingernail.
What the heck?
My guess is that it's human?
Okay.
I mean, look at the size of it. It's both horrifying and in a strange way impressive. Was someone storing it for later? Was it a keepsake? Did the previous owner lose a fight with the card slot? We'll never know. This is what it takes to be a thrifter. I'm hardened now. I've seen things. It was at this point I thought it was a good idea to put on some gloves. I then cleaned the lining with a diluted mixture of water and a small amount of dishwashing liquid. I kept the cloth damp rather than saturated to avoid soaking the leather. Slowly, the dirt began lifting, and the lining already looked much fresher. Next came the hardware, which is where the bag's age was really showing. I used a soft toothbrush to gently clean around the clasps and remove dirt from the small joins. And yes, this is a brand new travel toothbrush my friend received while flying business class with Malaysia Airlines. It even has its own little matching cover. This toothbrush has travelled more luxuriously than I have, and now it's scrubbing dirt off a $10 handbag. Life comes at you fast. I wasn't trying to polish the hardware aggressively. Some of what looked like dirt was actually worn plating, and no amount of scrubbing was going to bring the missing finish back. Professional replating would be the only way to fully restore it, but I was happy to remove the surface dirt and keep the remaining finish intact. The part I was most cautious about was the leather itself, because aged leather doesn't always react predictably to cleaning products. Ideally, you should test any product on a hidden area first. Naturally, I ignored the advice on the back of the spray bottle and went straight in. What can I say? I love living life on the edge. I worked carefully, using a small amount of cleaner at a time and watching how the leather reacted. Thankfully, my gamble paid off and there were no signs of discoloration. This time. Once the surface was clean and dry, I applied a light layer of conditioner. The goal wasn't to make an old bag look brand new. I didn't want to erase every crease and mark or make it look like it had just left the factory. I simply wanted to return some moisture to the leather and make the wear look cared for rather than neglected. And the conditioner made such a difference. The color looked richer, the leather felt softer, and all those little signs of aging started looking intentional again. Not everything disappeared. The plating is still worn, the leather still has creases, and some marks are now a permanent part of the bag's story, including, emotionally, the fingernail. But restoration doesn't have to mean removing every sign of age. Sometimes it just means cleaning away the neglect and preserving what's still beautiful. The bag still looks vintage, but now it feels clean, conditioned, and ready to use. For $10, a little careful maintenance, and one minor psychological injury, I think it was worth saving. Would you have taken on this restoration or left the bag behind? Let me know in the comments, and subscribe for more secondhand quality checks, restorations, and unexpected biological discoveries. Thanks for watching, and choose another video on screen to keep learning about the materials in your wardrobe.